Well, I would like to echo everyone who actually appreciated the excellent effort that was made today by all of you, even those who are behind the scenes, because I had the chance to speak to many of them and I had great insights. I have actually three main areas that I would like to discuss with you and maybe share with you. The first is on violent extremism, and that's very much the area where I'm working in at the moment. The second element is narrative, counter-narrative, and beyond. And this is something I think we've discussed today, but it's important as to where we're going with all of this. And finally, talking about the importance of developing the international peace strategist. We need to have peace strategists and what it means in the long run, especially in light of the peace games. Regarding the first element, which is on violent extremism, I've noticed there are many discussions over violent extremism and what are the expectations, etc. Frankly speaking, there are several things to be considered, and very important for us to continue to acknowledge these things. To counter violent extremism, it needs to be multidimensional by default. There's no one single factor or variable that can explain violent extremism, nor there's one solution that fits everything or one tablet that will solve all the diseases of the world. Unfortunately, it's so complicated that requires some level of sophistication on our behalf to A, understand, and B, to intervene. And that's not an easy job. Also, the discussions over the role of economy in countering violent extremism, the role of religion in countering violent extremism, the role of ideology in countering violent extremism. I think the key point here, especially the linkage between ideology/religion, it's not about what you believe in or what you embrace or what kind of even political grievances you use to justify. It is about how on earth can you justify the killing, the use of violence against innocent people. And therefore, it's important that when we deal with these issues, that we don't confuse personal choices of faith or political orientation or whatever decisions they make with the fact that whatever they embrace or believe or worldview they share or have or endorse, that this should not ever justify the use of violence against innocent people. And we need to separate these two and come up with solutions or ideas around this. Otherwise, we'll go into a path where it might be very confusing. For public sphere and public exchange of debates and ideas, this is where we can debate if it's true to believe or not to believe, or not being affiliated with any belief at all, or if you endorse this economic model or that economic model, if it works or not. We need to let things for political or public discussions and debate within the social realm. But when it comes to the use of any of the above for basically harming and killing in the name of all these ideals, I think it's important we have clarity and distinction on these matters. Also, one of the interesting issues related to violent extremism, which are very dear to me personally, and I always talked about this in many occasions before, is not about countering violent extremism, because this always puts us in a position where we're always responding, reacting, instead of actually being proactive and setting the stage and setting the tone for what is needed to be done. Therefore, we always talk about positive CVE, or even better, alternative CVE, and the things that we can do and how we can think out of the box. One of the gentlemen I spoke to, Malcolm, he told me about some of the stories of using the role of women or community or youth, looking at the different elements of society in large, the different ideas that could be produced or presented. Therefore, I think we have so much in our disposal to explore that is not yet being touched or even mentioned during the day, which I think is worthy of looking at from a different perspective. Then the second component is the issue of the narrative, counter-narrative, and beyond. Again, when you look at what people are presenting in terms of what they're advocating for, and I always say this in different meetings, basically those who are, unfortunately, but they're constantly promoting a culture of death, a culture of destruction, a different worldview. The alternative is maybe to provide some sort of a culture of promotion of life, promotion of construction. It's a very simple equation. There's a vacuum. The youth needs to have some sort of purpose or identity, and then someone else provide them with the alternative. Unless we do something about this, as in being proactive in terms of providing what is the alternative. Is it true that this is the end of history? Is it true that the human potential is at the moment incapable of producing anything new? I don't believe in that. Personally, I'm a very boring classical modernist, and I think there's still more to go forward, and it's too early to say this is it for Homo sapiens, they can't move forward. Therefore, when it comes to understanding
there's refreshments afterwards, we know that, so.
Well, I'm flying tonight, so
Oh,
I need to say everything I need to say before I come back to the great Washington. And it is a great Washington. And basically, one of the main ideas that I would like to share with you today is not to be limited or locked with existing axioms, how people define or understand violent extremism, or understand narrative, or we have to counter narrative. I think we need to go beyond that. What is it that we're promoting? What is it that we want? In classical psychological literature, if you want your children to go sleep home early, you don't tell them, don't stay late, but you promote the behavior you want from them. They want to go sleep early. So if you ask a violent extremist, I don't want you to be a violent extremist, it's bad for your health to be a violent extremist. The question would be from their side, so what do you want me to be? What's the alternative? Well, I want you to be a critical thinker. I want you to be culturally intelligent. I want you to be open to different ideas. Be creative, be innovative in your own way, and stop before you actually think doing any kind of harm to others, and basically provide them with the alternative. And this is a big challenge, a challenge on us collectively. Finally, and I thank you for your patience, is basically that a real takeaway from this exercise, and I've been really in a position of honor and privilege to join for the second time, is basically promoting this mindset of having the international peace strategists. Just the way there are the war games where all of these great generals come together and start strategizing. Just the way we had great generals like, for example, Clausewitz in a big fat book called On War, strategizing about how to defeat the enemy and deal with that, that's fine. But can we have also great peace strategists, those who can promote a different approach to things? This is a time of our history where we reach a certain point of civility, where we realize that the ultimate and absolute sense of reasoning and rationalism is to go beyond our own biological urges to kill and shoot and run, basically to build sustainable cultures and be able to move forward with our understanding collectively as humans. There's still more to be done. We as a group of people, we're a sample of what's happening outside in the world, but I believe that there's so much that we can do only if we are able to truly look at things from a different perspective, a perspective other than what's actually being produced and explained. Thank you.
Thank you.